The next thing that we are going to do is an integrity test of the water filter cartridge itself. The video for this I'm going to take directly from the manufacturer website because they do a great job of explaining it. But before we do that, there's a few quick introductory notes I'd like to leave. First, you're going to need about half a liter of water for the integrity test. And this is about half a red cup of water or a little bit under a metal bowl. You're going to need 2 containers, both clean, because you're going to use clean water back and forth. After you're done, you can of course go ahead and pour the water into the flush bucket. The second thing is that this integrity test will allow you to open up the filtrage and examine its component parts to make sure they're present in more detail. If any of these parts are missing, then do not continue the integrity test because we need to replace those parts. So in that case, you will actually stop checking at this step until we have the parts replaced.
Start by holding the filter at about 45 degrees and prime it by squeezing the bulb 10 times. Then, pump about 3/4 of a liter of water into a bowl or pot. Unsnap the pre-filter from the female check valve housing and put it in a safe spot. Unscrew the female check valve housing from the male check valve housing. Remove the check valve and reverse its direction. Place it back into the female check valve housing. Screw the female check valve housing back onto the male check valve housing. Remove the spout and umbrella valve. Place the cap into the bowl or pot of clean water and pump half liter of clean water backward through the filter. While the cap is still submerged, squeeze and hold the bulb. Then remove the cap from the water and release the bulb. If the bulb re-inflates within 30 seconds, the filter is not safe. If a few bubbles escape the check valve, unscrew the female check valve housing, reseat the check valve, and screw the female check valve housing back onto the male. Then test the filter again.
If the integrity test failed, then you are going to want to replace the filter cartridge on the inside. And we have a separate video on doing that at the very end. If the integrity test passed, then what you have is a water filter that looks kind of like this, where the bulb is slowly but surely bulging out slowly. So what you're going to do is now, at this point, for the next step, you want the bulb to be about half filled with water. But it's bulging out really slowly, right? And it'll take some time. What you're going to do is on the hose end, put back the hose end pieces as exactly as they were. Unscrew the check housing, take out the arrow and flip it, and you'll hear pressure releasing. Then put the arrow back up inside the tube, screw back on the check housing, and then clip back on the wire mesh. Now take a look at your bulb, which should have deflated. How much water is in there? It should be at least half full. If it is more than half full, then you can pump a little bit of water out. Now everything is going in the right direction. Just squeeze maybe once to get some water out. Once this bulb is half full, you are ready to proceed to the next step.